Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing fantastically well. So I'll just sort of do a quick video today on Fidelcrest. Now they're a prop trading firm, been going since 2018, and they've recently made a few updates to a lot of their trader programs. So in the past I've seen them reviewed and they've done very badly. They've sort of come in the top 5 worst prop firms. But as we know, the prop firm industry has been evolving massively over the past 12 months. So I thought I'd give them a quick look, because a lot of people are commenting on a lot of videos I've done previously saying, have a look at these guys, they've been making some great changes and they could actually be one of the top prop firms going into 2022. So I think one of the big benefits is they have been going for a long period of time. There does appear to be a lot of evidence and payout proof over the course of that time. But I think what a lot of people had some problems with was some of the rules that they actually had. Now, I can't comment on what those rules were because I've never traded with them. I don't have an active account with them, so I can't say what they were. But I think one of them was actually around a 10-second rule about taking profits. Obviously that has now been scrapped from what I'm aware, but I think the biggest change they've actually made is actually on the funded accounts, where they actually have changed the actual value. So let's say previously it was a $100,000 account, that's now increased to a $150,000 account, but at no additional cost. It's the same cost as what it was previously. So I think where people are getting excited, they're doing that direct comparison between some of the other prop firms and saying a $100,000 account to a $150,000 account, and sort of doing that quick comparison, thinking this is actually now a lot cheaper and therefore able to get in a better deal and get funded and therefore start taking some profits. But as always, you start doing the comparison between the exact like for like, and no prop firms are identical. They all have subtle differences, and it's really key to point out the differences with Fidelcrest to some of the other prop firms that people have signed up to previously. So Fidelcrest offer 2 trading programs. We have the micro trader, was essentially targeted for beginners because the actual account equity is a lot smaller, starting from $10,000. Then we have the Pro Trader program, which I think where most people would be more interested, because that's where we have the $150,000 accounts and upwards. They also claim that the Pro Trader program is the best of 2022. I'm not sure how they can make that claim because we're not quite in 2022 yet. And again, it's comparing themselves with others in the industry, and it's always not fair to compare because there are always subtle differences. They also offer a normal and aggressive trader option. Now for me, some of the actual benefits of being in the aggressive side of things, you actually have a much bigger daily drawdown, but at the same time you need to get much bigger percentage returns to actually pass through the challenge phases. So I don't think the aggressive model is the one that I would ever be looking at, purely just because the potential there is to fail a lot easier because you're always pushing to get that sort of 20% profit target. The programs are also more expensive, but again, on the flip side to that, if you do get funded, then the actual profit split is a lot higher. It comes up to the 80% level. But again, comparing that profit split to other prop firms, that is actually where we are standard across the board. So again, I don't think the actual aggressive model is where anyone should be pitching themselves. So if we look at phase 1 of the challenge, we've got the standard across the board pretty much. We have a 10% profit target with a 5% daily drawdown, and again a max loss of 10%. So I think a lot of people have an issue with the 10-day minimum trading within the actual month period. For me, that's not too much of a problem because again, you can always run the small mini lots just to get over that 10 trading day and get into the next phase. A lot of people are just keen to actually pass it as quick as they can, get into the verification phase and move on from there. Now in the verification phase is where it really differs from a lot of the prop firms. Now, as we know, most of the prop firms would actually look in the verification phase of getting a 5% target in 60 days. But Fidelcrest is the same as the first phase, and you need to get 10% profit target. But what they do actually offer, which is quite nice in some ways, is they will actually give you a 40% profit split if you actually do get through the verification phase. But again, thinking that back to if you were trying with another prop firm, you'd have achieved your 4 or 5% target in the verification phase. You would have got funded. You could then go out and actually trade for your next month and get 4 or 5%. You'd actually be eligible to get a 80% profit split on that, irrespective of anything else. So although it looks good, it just makes actually the passing of the verification phase harder. So for me, I would prefer to go with someone who has a lower second phase verification profit target and then get funded quicker and therefore start taking profits and not having to worry about trying to push for that 10% on the verification phase. Although you've got 60 days to do it in, it should be fairly straightforward. There's always that pressure and extra risk that you start to overtrade, over risk things and therefore get a failure. So they do have actually a nice feature is You are able to work with a performance coach when you're actually funded and actually be able to really develop your trading and work with them. It's very similar to what FTMO do with their performance coaches. Again, slightly work differently because we actually have a 4-week particular trading program to work through. So it's actually nice of actually thinking about the traders and how they can actually improve their performance over a period of time. Now the Q&A section on the website is pretty comprehensive. There doesn't appear to be anything really blatantly obvious that they're going to trip you up on. But again, if you are thinking of signing up, please spend the time to go through the Q&A and read every single one of them. And I've said before, if you are concerned about them, contact them and ask them for verification or even screenshot some of them, because as we know, prop firms do like to change things slightly just to make it more advantageous on their side sometimes. So it's always good to have that evidence that when you signed up or when you actually had the confirmation from them, that is what you're working with. So I think in summary, on the surface, they appear to be pretty legitimate. They seem to make some effort to actually change their trading programs to actually make it better for the traders. But for me, I think the sticking point for people signing up would be in that phase 2 verification, where you need to get 10% as opposed to compared with 4 or 5% like other prop firms, although they do actually give you a profit split if you are successful. And I think the other downside we're seeing is that if you're in the normal trading program, that if you're only going to get a 70% profit split, and as we've seen, things have moved on massively with other prop firms, 80 to 85 does seem to be the standard now. So again, they probably need to make that change and step up into 2022 to really make themselves the most competitive and best out there. So again, for me, it's watching and waiting to see what they can do and just sort of have it on the radar in case other prop firms fall by the wayside or don't quite sort of perform as they expect to. There's always that option of going with someone else that has that reputation of being around for 3 and 4 years. So I hope you've enjoyed my quick initial thoughts summary on what Fidelcrest do, and let me know in the comments below if you're thinking of signing up with them or if you are actually funded with them right now and how you're getting on with them. And I'll see you all again next video. Cheers.